I bet these canyons hold a lot of secrets, and the only thing that really does any exploring around here are cows. Good boy. It's up here. It's up here. Good boy. Road's a little bit squirrely right here. You're not a fan of when the road is a little squirrely, are you? Good morning, folks, from Southwest Colorado. We are about to head through the Unaweep Canyon. The Unaweep Canyon is a very unique canyon. In the Ute language, the name Unaweep means canyon of divided waters or canyon with two mouths. It is the only canyon in the world where water flows out of the canyon from both ends. One at Whitewater, Colorado, and one at the other end at Gateway, Colorado. So it has kind of a little mini continental divide in the canyon. It's also fairly unique because geologists don't know how it formed. There are a couple of theories, one of which requires you to know a little bit about what the Colorado Plateau is. The Colorado Plateau is an area of uplifted ground. It's uplifted 5,000, 7,000 feet, something like that, around the surrounding areas. And it uplifted 80 million years ago, something like that, and was formerly many lakes and inland seas. And so you have a ton of sedimentary rock, and you'll see a lot of that in this canyon. What that has to do with the two theories is that one theory of how this canyon was formed was that ancient glaciers way before the plateau uplifted carved this canyon, and then it filled in, and then the Gunnison River came along and cleared out all the sediment. But the initial canyon was potentially formed by ancient glaciers. The other theory is that it was just carved by an ancient form of the Gunnison River without any glacial involvement. But the truth is, nobody knows for sure. So that's kind of unique and interesting about this area. And this is one of the most beautiful areas of desert in Colorado, in my opinion. The Colorado Plateau covers parts of Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico, being mostly composed of uplifted sandstone and then eroded by water. The Colorado Plateau has a massive concentration of really cool rock formations. Zion National Park, Arches National Park, Canyonlands National Park, Capitol Reef National Park are all within the Colorado Plateau. But there are also thousands and thousands and thousands of other areas of rock formations and countless canyons through this land. And even though it's a really hot, dry desert area, although cold in the winter, it's been inhabited for thousands and thousands of years. And that's because rivers flowing through the area are plentiful. And that big snowy mesa ahead of us is why we couldn't drive over the mesa. That big spire is called Thimble Rock. And that little structure down there is the Driggs Mansion, or the former Driggs Mansion. With all the talk I've done about sedimentary rock, Thimble Rock and a lot of the rock in the canyon is igneous in nature and metamorphic, and the thimble is made out of granite. which is much older than the sandstone. There was sandstone on top of it that got eroded away. And the mansion is just a mansion that was built by a guy named Lawrence Driggs in the early 1900s. And it has crumbled away, but it's pretty cool. We can't go exploring it because it's private property, but it's a pretty neat little landmark along the way. While we're driving on a highway, this is still a really peaceful, lovely drive because this is one of the least visited portions of Colorado. We're very near the Colorado-Utah border. And if you're going to Utah, you're going to Arches and Canyonlands and all the national parks. And if you're going to Colorado, you're going up to the Rocky Mountains, typically, if you are visiting. And so this area just doesn't see a lot of love. They call it the west end of Colorado. And besides not many visitors, not many people live here either. So it's good for me. It's exactly the kind of place that I like to go. Hey cows! How you doing, cows? Those snowy mountains, which are starting to peak above the canyon rim, are called the La Salle Mountains, and they're actually in Utah. That's how close we are to the border. This is Gateway, Colorado, where they have a church and they have a general store where I got some snacks. And they have this crazy fancy resort. I really don't know what the resort is all about, but it's always intrigued me a little bit because there's nothing here. I think it must be one of those resorts where really rich people go to kind of get away from people. I'm going to Google it. Okay, I looked it up. And it's not crazy expensive. It's like $300 to $500 a night. But that doesn't include your horseback riding and guided hikes and helicopter tours and spa treatments and such. So probably your average Joe isn't gonna be staying there. We're not sticking around Gateway. We are headed down the road in one of the most beautiful drives in Colorado, I think, through gorgeous red rock canyons. This is the Dolores River Canyon, and it just goes on and on and on for a long ways, like 50 miles or something like that. And it's just absolutely gorgeous the whole way. And I would love to come back here, which I can do because I live in Colorado, and just explore these canyons, explore every little back road through them, every little trail. I bet these canyons hold a lot of secrets, and the only thing that really does any exploring around here are cows. I take that back. This is a very big mining area, particularly uranium, and so there's been a lot of mining exploration, but the uranium heydays are kind of over, so there's not a lot of new exploration here. We made a quick turn off the highway to go see a charcoal kiln. A little bit of a rocky road back to the charcoal kiln, but it's kind of weird that it's sort of just out here all by itself. I mean, I know there was gold mining very nearby. In fact, the next thing we see is going to be related to gold mining, but I don't really understand the purpose of the charcoal kilns out here, because you'll see them a number of places. They've got little holes in the walls at regular intervals to let oxygen in, I suppose. And the walls are all blackened. And I don't know whether it would have had a roof or not. I assume it would have had a roof. And somebody has been building a campfire in here. And just down the road is the Hanging Flume, which is just for a really cool historic structure because there used to be gold mining here. Apparently not very successful gold mining, but the miners of the day built a flume to send water and used it in gold mining and processing their gold claims, and it's pretty neat. 5 miles of the flume are attached to the canyon walls. Can you imagine how difficult it would have been back in the day to build this structure that is sticking out of the canyon walls? Despite my snack from the general store, I'm hangry. And I am ready to find a camp spot. I'm going to try to find a camp spot down by the confluence of the San Miguel and Dolores River. Last time I was here in this area in winter, the road was closed to it. So we have to see what's going on with the road right now. And that was because they had some flooding. So hopefully that's all resolved now, because that was several years ago, but we'll see how it goes. There are plenty of options for camping if I can't get the camp spots that I want. It looks like the road is at least partially open. So we're going to drive back here a little bit. I could see from the highway that portions of the road are covered in snow. So we'll see what the conditions are like. So out Tuk's window, what looks like absolutely nothing there is the former town of Uravan. And I did a little video of Uravan a while back, years back. Uravan was a uranium mining town, and in fact they mined and processed the uranium used in the nuclear bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki right here. It was really contaminated. I don't remember when it was, but at some point they made everybody move out of town and they razed it to the ground and covered it with cement and did other mitigation work for radioactive contamination. And yeah, Uravan is no more. And I forgot that down this road you could see the hanging flume a lot more up close. And historians reconstructed a little part of the flume so that you can see how it would have carried water. All that's really left now are the supports for the essentially U-shaped tube that would have carried water down the canyon. Are you so ready to be out of the car? Yeah. This is camp right at the confluence of the San Miguel and the Dolores Rivers. Did you already put yourself away? You already put yourself in for the night? We're not really going to bed just yet. I'm going to make some food. He did do a little running around, and he actually drank some water out of the river, which is a big step for him. But yeah, then he just put himself to bed. I have come to the very sad realization that I have lost the fuel bottle to the stove I usually use. This stove, it takes a fuel bottle. I think you can also hook it up to a canister, but I have to look up the directions, and I'm hungry and don't feel like doing that. So I'm going to use my normal backpacking stove and hope that my Stanley pan has a thick enough bottom to it that it will distribute the heat well. I have no idea where that fuel bottle fell out. It could be anywhere between here and Delta, Colorado. That means I'm going to have to go buy a new one, and they're not cheap. I do have my backpacking stove, so we're going to use that. The stove I normally use is a MSR Dragonfly, I think, and it has a much wider surface area and is much easier to control the flame. And I think I'm gonna burn the middle of my quesadillas, but we'll see how it goes. It melted the butter very fast, probably too fast. I think it's not doing too bad. We're gonna put some onion in there. And I actually do have a cheese grater, but I don't feel like cleaning it, so I just sliced my cheese real thin. My jar of jalapenos is really stuck. There it goes. We're gonna put some jalapenos on there. We've got our jalapenos and our cheese and our onions. And I can smell that it's getting burnt already. That's burnt an acceptable amount. Let's see. Yeah, that's burnt a little bit too. Slice that up. Cheese is melted. We're gonna add a little sour cream and a little salsa verde. A lot of salsa verde. And you've just been dying for a piece of quesadilla, haven't you? Burnt quesadillas and sour cream and salsa. Still tastes good. I am gonna finish my dinner and we are gonna turn in. And that is it for today. I have quesadilla in my teeth. And I want to thank all of you guys for coming along with me. It's amazing that you're coming along with me. And if you've made it this far in the video and you're not a subscriber yet, maybe you should subscribe. I'll see you down the road.